Welcome to Deep Sleep Studios, a place to calmly explore the most astonishing parts of our universe while helping you drift off to sleep. This is a place for gentle attention and unhurried curiosity, and also for letting go. Tonight, we'll sit quietly with the private writings of a Roman emperor who understood what it feels like to carry the weight of things we cannot change, and who found, in the small hours of the night, a profound peace in releasing what was never ours to hold. If you're enjoying Deep Sleep Studios, you can like the video and subscribe for more gentle journeys like this. And if you'd like, leave a comment with where you're listening from and what time it is. It's comforting to know who else is out there quietly. Nearly 2,000 years ago, a man sat alone in a tent on the edge of the Roman frontier. Outside, the wind moved through the dark forests of what is now Austria or Hungary, carrying the smell of wood smoke and cold earth. Inside, by the light of a single oil lamp, he opened a small journal and began to write. Not for publication, not for anyone else to read, just for himself. He was Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the known world, and he was struggling with the same things that keep us awake tonight. The worry about what tomorrow might bring. The replaying of conversations we cannot change. The fear of loss, of failure, of not being enough. And in those quiet moments, writing by lamplight, he discovered something that still speaks to us across all those centuries. He discovered that peace does not come from controlling the world around us. It comes from releasing what was never ours to control in the first place. Let us begin with something he wrote in the fourth book of his private journal. He reminded himself that everything we experience is like a river of events flowing past us continuously. We stand in the current, and things move through our hands, moments, sensations, thoughts, people, and we cannot hold the water still. We can cup our hands and feel its coolness for a moment, but then it slips between our fingers and continues on its way. This is not a tragedy. This is simply the nature of rivers. And Marcus found comfort in this image, returning to it again and again. The river does not ask us to stop it. It only asks us to let it flow. Think for a moment about the things that have kept you awake. Perhaps there is a conversation from earlier today that plays on repeat in your mind. Something you said or didn't say. Something someone said to you. And you turn it over, examining it from different angles, wishing you could reach back through time and change it. But the conversation has already flowed downstream. It is part of the river now, moving away from you with each passing breath. Marcus would gently remind us that we cannot step into the same river twice. The moment has passed. The water has moved on, and so can we. There is a particular kind of exhaustion that comes from trying to control what lies beyond our power. It is the exhaustion of pushing against a door that only opens outward, of trying to hold back the tide with our hands, of lying awake, running through scenarios, as if our worrying could change what will happen tomorrow. Marcus understood this exhaustion intimately. He ruled an empire of 60 million people, fought wars on multiple frontiers, dealt with plague and famine and betrayal. And yet, his private writings are not filled with grand strategies or displays of power. They are filled with gentle reminders to himself. Let go, accept, return to what you can actually influence. He wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. The mind, left to its own devices, will construct elaborate scenarios of disaster. It will rehearse conversations that may never happen. It will anticipate rejections that may never come. It will grieve losses that have not yet occurred. And in doing so, it lives through pain multiple times, once in imagination and perhaps again in reality. But often, the reality never arrives at all. We have suffered for nothing. Tonight, as you lie here in the darkness, notice what your mind is doing. Is it reaching forward into tomorrow, trying to solve problems that don't yet exist? Is it reaching backward into yesterday, trying to revise what has already been written? Marcus would invite you to come back to this moment, this breath, this heartbeat, this gentle weight of your body against the bed. This is the only moment that is truly yours. The past is a story you tell yourself. The future is a story you imagine. But this breath, right now, is real. In the fourth book of his Meditations, Marcus wrote something that may seem strange at first. He said that everything that happens is as natural and familiar as the rose in spring or the fruit in autumn. Disease, death, lies, conspiracy, all of it, he said, is natural. This was not callousness. It was not indifference to suffering. It was a profound acceptance of the way things are. The universe operates according to its own patterns, and those patterns include difficulty. They include loss. They include the things we wish would not happen. And fighting against this reality does not change it. It only exhausts us. Imagine for a moment that you are standing on a beach at night. The waves roll in, one after another, their white foam catching the moonlight. You watch them approach, crest, break, and recede. You do not try to stop them. You do not argue with their rhythm. You simply watch, and there is peace in the watching. Marcus invites us to view the events of our lives the same way. They roll toward us, crest, break, and recede. Some are pleasant, like warm water on our feet. Some are cold and unexpected, but they are all waves. They are all part of the same ocean. He wrote about fame and reputation with a kind of gentle humor. Think, he said, of all the people who were once celebrated, praised, admired. Where are they now? Smoke and ash and a story, or not even a story. This was not meant to be depressing. It was meant to be liberating. If even the greatest fame fades to nothing, then why exhaust ourselves chasing it? Why lie awake worrying about what others think of us? Their opinions, like ours, are temporary. Their judgments will be forgotten. And in the meantime, we have this one precious life to live. The lamp flickers in Marcus's tent. Outside, the wind has settled into a low murmur through the pines. He dips his pen in ink and writes another line. How small a part of the boundless and unfathomable time is assigned to every man, for it is very soon swallowed up in the eternal. He is not frightened by this thought. He is comforted by it. because if our time is brief, then every moment matters. And if every moment matters, then we cannot afford to waste them on worry. Let us pause here and breathe together. Feel your chest rise gently, then fall. Feel the air move through you, warm and slow. This breath is yours. This moment is yours. Whatever happened today, whatever may happen tomorrow, right now, you are here. Right now, you are safe. Right now, you are breathing, and that is enough. Marcus often wrote about the discipline of ascent. This is a beautiful concept, though he never used that exact phrase. It means simply this: we do not have to accept every thought that arises in our mind. A thought appears, perhaps a worry, perhaps a judgment, perhaps a fear, and we have a choice. We can grab onto it, turn it over, feed it with our attention, or we can let it pass, like a cloud moving across the sky. The thought is not us. We are the sky. Tonight, as thoughts arise, you might try this gentle practice. When a worry appears, notice it, acknowledge it, and then let it drift on. You do not need to solve it right now. You do not need to engage with it. You can simply say, there is a thought about tomorrow, and return to your breath. Marcus did this constantly. His journals are full of such moments. He would notice his mind spinning stories, and he would gently bring it back to virtue, back to acceptance, back to the present moment. He wrote that the universe is change, life is opinion. These two lines, simple as they are, contain profound peace. The universe is change. Everything transforms, nothing stays the same. Fighting this is like fighting gravity. It cannot be won. Life is opinion. Our experience is shaped not by events themselves, but by how we interpret them. Two people can face the same situation and feel completely different things. The difference lies in the story they tell themselves. This means we have more power than we realize. Not power over external events, those will happen as they will, but power over our response, power over our interpretation, power over the story we tell ourselves about what is happening. Marcus called this the inner citadel, the fortress within us that cannot be breached unless we open the gates ourselves. Imagine a fortress made of warm light. It sits at the center of your being, quiet and strong. Outside its walls, the world swirls with change and uncertainty. But inside, there is stillness, there is peace. This is your inner citadel. This is the part of you that chooses how to respond. No one can enter without your permission. No event can disturb it unless you allow the disturbance. Marcus wrote that pain is not unbearable or unending unless we make it so. We add to our suffering by telling ourselves stories about it. This should not be happening. I cannot handle this. This will never end. But the pain itself, in this moment, is simply a sensation. It is the stories that exhaust us. He suggested a practice that we might try tonight. When something troubles us, we can ask, is this within my power or outside it? If it is within our power, our own actions, our own thoughts, our own choices, then we can do something about it. If it is outside our power, other people's actions, the past, the weather, the future, then we can let it go, not with resignation, but with relief. We are not responsible for what we cannot control. Think of all the things you have worried about that never came to pass. The disasters that existed only in your imagination. The rejections you feared that never happened. The worst-case scenarios that dissolved like morning mist. Marcus would smile gently at this. He would remind us that the mind is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. Left unchecked, it will create suffering where none exists, but guided with patience and awareness, it can be a source of great peace. The night deepens around Marcus's tent. The lamp burns lower, its flame a small golden heart in the darkness. He writes about death, but not with fear. He writes about it the way one might write about autumn or evening or the turning of the tide. It is natural, he says. It is part of the same process that brought us into being. The elements that make up our bodies were once stars, once earth, once other living things, and they will become something else again. There is a passage where he imagines looking down at the earth from a great height. From up there, our struggles seem very small. The empires we build, the wars we fight, the grudges we hold, they are like the movements of ants on a distant hill. This is not meant to diminish our experience. It is meant to give us perspective. Our problems are real, but they are not as large as they feel when we are inside them. Imagine for a moment that you are floating high above the earth. Below you, the continents spread out like a map made of blue and green and brown. The clouds drift past, white and silent. From here, you cannot see the traffic jams or the arguments or the deadlines. You can only see the beautiful curve of the planet turning slowly in the light of the sun. This is what Marcus called the view from above, and it is available to us any time we need it. He wrote about the people who had come before him, the emperors, the philosophers, the generals, the poets. All of them once walked this earth, felt the sun on their faces, worried about the future. And now they are gone, absorbed back into the great cycle of being. This was not morbid to Marcus. It was clarifying. It reminded him that his own time was limited and therefore precious. It reminded him not to waste his days on anger or resentment or fear. He wrote, "Do not act as if you had 10,000 years to live. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." This sounds urgent, but Marcus meant it gently. He was not trying to frighten himself into virtue. He was trying to wake himself up to the preciousness of now. Tonight, as you lie here, you might feel the preciousness of this moment, the softness of the pillow beneath your head, the quiet rhythm of your breathing, the gentle darkness that surrounds you like a blanket. This moment will not come again. It is unique in all of time, and you are here to experience it. Marcus wrote about fate with a word that sounds harsh in translation, but was gentle in meaning. Amor fati, the love of fate. Not mere acceptance of what happens, but actual love for it. Because what happens is part of the great unfolding of the universe, and we are part of that unfolding too. This does not mean we should not try to improve things. Marcus spent his life trying to be a good emperor, a good husband, a good father. He worked hard. He made difficult decisions. He faced challenges with courage. But he did not attach his peace to the outcomes. He did his best, and then he let go. He trusted that whatever happened was part of a larger pattern he could not fully see. There is a kind of freedom in this letting go. It is the freedom of the sailor who has done everything possible to navigate the storm. He has trimmed the sails, secured the cargo, set the course. And now the wind will do what the wind will do. He cannot control it. He can only respond to it. And in that response, moment by moment, he finds his peace. Marcus wrote about the present moment as the only thing we truly possess. The past is gone. The future is not yet here. But this moment, this breath, this heartbeat, this sensation of being alive, this is ours. And it is always enough. He compared life to a banquet. Dishes are passed around the table. Some come to us, some pass us by. We do not grab desperately at every dish. We do not mourn the ones that go to others. We take what comes to us with grace, enjoy it while it is here, and let it go when it is taken away. This is the art of living lightly. The fire in Marcus's camp has burned down to embers now. The soldiers are asleep in their tents, dreaming of home. The stars wheel overhead, the same stars that shine above you tonight. And Marcus writes one more line before he sleeps. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, and do so with all your heart. Love the people with whom fate brings you together. This is perhaps the most tender thing Marcus ever wrote. For all his talk of acceptance and detachment, he was not cold. He loved deeply. He grieved when those he loved died. But he did not let his love become grasping. He held his loved ones the way one holds water, gently, knowing it will eventually slip away. Tonight, you might think of the people you love, their faces, their voices, the way they laugh. You cannot control what will happen to them. You cannot protect them from all harm. But you can love them now, in this moment, with all your heart. And that love is not diminished by impermanence. It is made more precious by it. Marcus wrote about returning to the source, the way a river returns to the sea, the way a flame returns to the fire, the way we all return, eventually, to the great wholeness from which we came. This was not frightening to him. It was homecoming. He imagined the universe as a single living being, all of us connected, all of us part of the same vast organism. The boundaries we draw between ourselves and others, between ourselves and the world, these are illusions. In reality, we are not separate. We are waves in the same ocean, notes in the same song. When we understand this, something shifts. The urgency fades. The grasping relaxes. We realize that we do not need to control everything because we are part of everything. The universe is not happening to us. It is happening through us, and we can trust it, the way a leaf trusts the tree. Marcus wrote that nothing happens to anyone that they are not fitted by nature to bear. This is a bold claim, and perhaps not always comforting in the moment, but he meant it as encouragement. You have within you the resources to meet whatever comes. You are stronger than you know. He also wrote that the obstacle is the way. The very thing that seems to block our path is actually the path itself. The difficulty we face is the material we work with. The challenge is the teacher. This does not mean we should seek out suffering. It means that when suffering finds us, we can use it. We can grow from it. We can let it polish us, the way water polishes stone. And in this way, even our hardships become gifts. The night is deep now, and the stars have shifted in the sky. Marcus sets down his pen and closes his journal. He does not know that his private writings will survive for 2,000 years. He does not know that people in a world he could not imagine will find comfort in his words. He is simply a man, tired from the day, preparing for sleep. He lies down on his camp bed, pulling a rough wool blanket over his shoulders. The tent canvas ripples gently in the night breeze, and as he closes his eyes, he practices what he has written. He releases the day. He releases the worries about tomorrow. He returns to the present moment, to the sensation of his body at rest. This is what we can do tonight. We can follow Marcus into that gentle release. We can set down the burdens we have been carrying. We can stop trying to solve problems that do not need to be solved right now. We can simply be here, breathing, resting, letting go. The breath comes in, soft and slow. The breath goes out, carrying with it a little of the tension we have been holding. Each exhale is a small surrender. Each inhale is a small acceptance. Marcus wrote about the discipline of desire. This means wanting only what is within our power to achieve. When we desire things that depend on others, on luck, on circumstances beyond our control, we set ourselves up for frustration. But when we desire only to act with virtue, to respond with wisdom, to be present with courage, these are always within our reach. Tonight, we might simplify our desires. We might desire only this: to rest well, to let the body heal, to let the mind quiet. These are within our power. We cannot control whether sleep comes quickly or slowly, but we can create the conditions for rest. We can relax our muscles. We can soften our thoughts, and that is enough. Marcus wrote about the logos, the rational principle that governs the universe. He saw it as a kind of divine intelligence, weaving all things together in a pattern of meaning. We do not need to share his exact beliefs to find comfort in the idea that there is order beneath the chaos, that things happen for reasons we may not understand, that we are part of something larger than ourselves. When we feel lost, we can remember this. We are not alone. We are not adrift. We are held by the same forces that hold the stars in their courses. We are part of the same unfolding that has been happening since the beginning of time. The universe has been preparing for this moment for billions of years. Every star that formed and exploded, every planet that coalesced from dust, every ancestor who lived and loved and passed on their genes, all of it led to you, here, now. You are the universe becoming aware of itself. You are the cosmos, resting. Marcus wrote that we should not be surprised by anything that happens. The wise person expects the unexpected. They know that life is unpredictable, that plans will change, that things will not always go as hoped. And because they expect this, they are not thrown off balance when it happens. This is not pessimism. It is realism. It is the clear-eyed acceptance of how things are. And paradoxically, it leads to greater peace. Because when we stop expecting the world to conform to our wishes, we can start appreciating it as it is. The world as it is, right now, is enough. This room, this bed, this darkness, they are enough. This body, this breath, this moment of awareness, they are enough. We do not need anything to be different. We can rest in what is. Marcus wrote about the shortness of life, but not to create anxiety. He wrote about it to create clarity. When we remember that our time is limited, we stop wasting it on things that do not matter. We stop holding grudges. We stop postponing joy. We start living now, fully, gratefully. Tonight is a gift, the chance to rest, to dream, to let the body repair itself. This is a gift. Many people throughout history would have envied this moment. A safe place to sleep, a quiet room, the luxury of peace. We can receive this gift with gratitude. Marcus wrote about the people who annoyed him, frustrated him, angered him. He dealt with difficult people every day. Senators, generals, courtiers, rivals. And he reminded himself again and again that they were doing the best they could. They were acting according to their understanding, their fears, their limitations, just as he was. When we are troubled by others, we can remember this. They are not villains in our story. They are the heroes of their own. They are struggling, just as we are. They are trying to find their way, just as we are. And they deserve our compassion, just as we deserve theirs. This does not mean we should accept mistreatment. It means we should not add to our suffering by hating those who harm us. Hatred is a poison we drink ourselves. Forgiveness is the antidote. Marcus wrote that the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. When someone wrongs us, we have a choice. We can become bitter, resentful, hard. Or we can remain open, compassionate, kind. The second choice is harder, but it is also the path to peace. Tonight, if there is anyone you are holding resentment toward, you might try a small experiment. Imagine them as a child before life hardened them. Imagine them scared, confused, doing the best they could with what they knew. You do not have to excuse their behavior. You do not have to reconcile with them. But you might find that the grip of resentment loosens just a little. And that loosening is freedom. Every resentment we release is a weight lifted from our shoulders. Every grudge we let go is a chain broken. We do not forgive for their sake. We forgive for ours. Marcus wrote about the body, with a kind of gentle detachment. He saw it as a vessel, a temporary home for the soul. He did not despise it. He cared for it, exercised it, rested it. But he did not identify with it completely. He knew that he was more than his body. Tonight, as you lie here, you might feel your body as a kind of companion. It has carried you through this day. It has done its best for you. And now it asks only for rest. You can give it that gift. You can let it relax, muscle by muscle. You can thank it for its service. Start with your feet. Feel them resting against the sheets, heavy and warm. Let any tension there dissolve, like ice melting in the sun. Your feet have carried you many miles. They deserve this rest. Move your attention up to your ankles, your calves, your knees. Feel the muscles softening, releasing their grip. There is nothing to hold on to right now. Nowhere to walk. You can let these muscles be completely at ease. Continue up to your thighs, your hips, your lower back. This is where so much tension accumulates. The stress of the day settles here, in the pelvis, in the spine. Breathe into this area. Imagine warmth spreading through it. Let the tension drain away, like water soaking into sand. Your belly rises and falls with each breath. There is no need to hold it in, to control it, to shape it. Let it be soft. Let it move freely. The belly is the seat of so much emotion. Fear, anxiety, excitement. Tonight, let it be calm. Let it be at peace. Your chest expands gently with each inhale. Your heart beats steadily, faithfully, without any effort from you. It has been beating since before you were born. It will continue beating as you sleep. You can trust it. You can let it do its work. Your shoulders, your arms, your hands. These are the parts of you that reach out into the world. That grasp, that hold, that push, that pull. Tonight, there is nothing to reach for. You can let your arms rest heavy at your sides. You can let your hands uncurl, palms soft, fingers relaxed. Your neck, your jaw, your face. So much expression happens here. So much tension. The furrow between your brows, the clench of your jaw. Let it all soften. Let your face become smooth and peaceful. Let your eyes rest gently in their sockets, looking at nothing. Your whole body is at rest now, heavy and warm and completely supported. The bed holds you. The earth holds the bed. You do not need to hold yourself up. You can surrender completely to gravity. Marcus wrote that we are all part of the same cosmic process. The same atoms that make up our bodies once made up stars. The same energy that flows through us flows through everything. We are not separate from the universe. We are expressions of it. When we sleep, we return to that unity. The boundaries of self become soft and permeable. We merge with the darkness, with the silence, with the great stillness. And in the morning, we emerge again, refreshed, renewed. Sleep is a small death, Marcus might have said. Not something to fear, but something to welcome. A chance to let go of the day, to release our grip on identity. A chance to trust that we will be restored. The night outside your window is vast and quiet. Perhaps there are stars, perhaps clouds, perhaps the glow of distant lights. Whatever is out there, it is continuing on its way. The world doesn't need you to watch over it tonight. You can let it turn without your supervision. Marcus wrote about the river of time again and again. He saw everything being swept along in its current. Empires, civilizations, individual lives, all of it flowing toward the same sea. And he found peace in this image, because if everything is flowing, then we do not need to cling. We can let ourselves be carried. Imagine yourself floating in a warm, gentle river. The current moves you slowly, effortlessly. You do not need to swim. You do not need to steer. You can simply float, face up to the sky, trusting the water to hold you. The banks of the river are lined with trees. Their branches reach out over the water, creating dappled patterns of light and shadow. Birds sing in the leaves. The air smells of green, growing things. And you float on, peaceful, unhurried, at ease. This is what surrender feels like, not giving up, but giving over, not defeat, but release. The river knows where it is going. You do not need to know. You can simply trust. Marcus wrote that everything is interwoven, the web is holy. Nothing is separate from anything else. Every action ripples out, affecting everything. Every thought, every choice, every breath, all of it matters. And yet, paradoxically, we do not need to carry the weight of it all, because we are just one thread in the web. Our part is to be true to ourselves, to act with virtue, to do our best. The rest is not our responsibility. Tonight, you might release any sense of cosmic responsibility. You do not need to save the world tonight. You do not need to solve any problems. You do not need to be anything other than what you are. A human being, resting, breathing, letting go. Marcus wrote about the shortness of memory. Even the longest remembered people are eventually forgotten. Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, all the heroes and villains of history, their fame fades. In a few generations, even their names become unfamiliar. This is not sad. It is liberating. If fame is fleeting, then we do not need to chase it. If reputation is temporary, then we do not need to protect it. We can simply live our lives, do our best, and let the rest go. The people who matter most are not the famous ones. They are the ones who touched us directly, the parent who comforted us, the friend who listened, the stranger who showed unexpected kindness. These are the people we remember. These are the ones who shaped us. And we, in turn, are shaping others. Every interaction is an opportunity, every moment of presence, every act of kindness, every word of encouragement. These ripple out in ways we cannot see. We do not need to be famous to matter. We matter already to the people whose lives we touch. Marcus wrote about death with remarkable equanimity. He saw it as a natural process, no different from birth. The elements that make up our bodies will return to the earth. The consciousness that animates us will return to the source. Nothing is lost. Everything is transformed. This is the great recycling of the universe. Stars die and become the raw material for new stars. Leaves fall and become the soil for new trees. And we, too, will become part of something new. There is comfort in this thought. We are not separate from the great cycle. We are part of it. always have been, always will be, and the cycle continues, whether we worry about it or not. Tonight, we can rest in this continuity. We are held by something larger than ourselves. We are part of a story that began long before us and will continue long after. And our chapter, however brief, is meaningful. Marcus wrote that we should live each day as if it were our last, not in a frantic, desperate way, but with attention, with gratitude, with presence, because this day, this moment, is all we ever really have. And yet, he also wrote that we should plan as if we will live forever, not because we will, but because planning is part of living well. We can hold both truths at once. This moment is precious, and the future matters. We can be present and responsible at the same time. Tonight, you are practicing presence. You are here now, in this moment. Not planning, not worrying, not striving, just being, just resting, just breathing. The breath continues, soft and steady, in and out, like the tide, like the seasons, like the great rhythms of the universe. You are part of those rhythms. You are breathing with the cosmos. Marcus wrote about the discipline of action. This means doing what needs to be done without attachment to the outcome. We act because it is right to act, not because we are guaranteed success. We do our best, and then we let go. Tonight, you have done your best. Whatever happened today, you did what you could with what you had. And now the day is over. You can release it. You can let it go. Tomorrow will bring new opportunities, new challenges, new chances to do your best. But that is tomorrow. Tonight, you rest. Marcus wrote about the present moment as a kind of sanctuary, a place where the past cannot reach us and the future has not yet arrived. In the present moment, we are safe. In the present moment, we are whole. This sanctuary is always available to us. No matter what is happening around us, we can return to now. We can feel our breath. We can feel our body. We can notice the sensations of this moment. And in that noticing, we find peace. The room around you is quiet. Perhaps you can hear small sounds, the hum of a fan, the distant murmur of traffic, the settling of the house. These sounds are not disturbances. They are part of the moment. They are the texture of now. Marcus wrote that we should not be disturbed by external things. They have no power over our inner state unless we give it to them. The sound of a car passing, the creak of a floorboard, these are just sounds. They do not require our attention. They do not require our response. We can let them pass through our awareness like clouds through the sky. The sky of your mind is vast and spacious. Thoughts arise, drift across and dissolve. Sounds arise, drift across and dissolve. Sensations arise, drift across and dissolve. And you remain, the awareness in which all of this happens. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who notices them. You are not your sensations. You are the one who feels them. You are not your worries. You are the one who can release them. This is the great freedom that Marcus discovered. We are not our experiences. We are the space in which experiences occur. In that space, There is always peace. No matter how turbulent the thoughts, the space itself is calm. No matter how intense the sensations, the space itself is still. We can rest in that space tonight. We can be the sky, not the clouds. Marcus wrote about the art of living in agreement with nature. This means accepting our place in the great order of things. It means not fighting against what is. It means flowing with the current instead of against it. Tonight, we flow. We do not resist sleep. We do not force it. We simply create the conditions and let nature take its course. The body knows how to sleep. The mind knows how to quiet. We do not need to do anything. We only need to allow. The allowing is the hardest part. We are so used to doing, to striving, to making things happen. But sleep is not something we make happen. It is something we let happen. It is a surrender, a release, a letting go. Marcus would understand this. He spent his days making things happen, commanding armies, governing provinces, making decisions. But at night, he set all of that down. He became just a man, lying in the darkness, waiting for sleep. We are all equal in sleep, the emperor and the slave, the rich and the poor, the famous and the forgotten. In sleep, all distinctions dissolve. We return to the common humanity we share. Marcus wrote about this common humanity often. He reminded himself that everyone he met was his kin. They shared the same divine spark, the same rational nature. They were all part of the same great family. Tonight, you might feel connected to all the other people who are sleeping right now. Across the world, millions of people are lying in the darkness, just like you. They are breathing just like you. They are letting go of their days just like you. You are not alone in this. You are part of a great company of sleepers. And across time, billions of people have done this before you. Every human being who has ever lived has known the experience of lying down to rest. Marcus lay down to rest. His soldiers lay down to rest. The farmers and the philosophers, the mothers and the children, all of them knew this moment. You are connected to all of them. The night is a great equalizer. It comes to everyone, regardless of status or achievement. It reminds us that we are all mortal, all temporary, all part of the same brief flash of existence. And in that reminder there is comfort. Marcus wrote that we should not cling to life, not because life is not precious, but because clinging creates suffering. When we hold on too tightly, we live in fear of loss. When we hold on loosely, we can enjoy what we have while we have it. Tonight, we hold on loosely. We do not cling to wakefulness. We do not fight against sleep. We let the day go. We let consciousness go. We trust that we will wake again, refreshed and renewed. And if we do not wake, Marcus would shrug gently. That too is natural. That too is part of the great order. We have no control over it. We can only live well today. We can only rest well tonight. The lamp in Marcus's tent has gone out now. The only light comes from the stars, filtering faintly through the canvas. He lies in the darkness, his breath slowing, his body relaxing. The worries of empire fade. The plans and strategies dissolve. He is just a man returning to the source. We return with him. We let our thoughts slow, our bodies soften our awareness expand. We become part of the great stillness that underlies all things. We become part of the silence that holds the universe. Marcus wrote that we should imagine ourselves as part of a great organism, each of us a cell in the body of the cosmos. We have our role to play, our function to fulfill. But we are not separate from the whole. We are the whole, expressing itself in this particular form. Tonight, we rest as part of the whole. We let the whole support us, carry us, heal us. We do not need to do anything. We are being done. The breath breathes itself. The heart beats itself. The body heals itself. We are passengers on this journey, not drivers. We can let go of the wheel. Marcus wrote about the logos, the rational principle that guides all things. He trusted it completely. He believed that whatever happened was part of a larger plan, not a plan he could understand, but a plan he could trust. We do not need to understand everything. We do not need to see the whole picture. We can trust that there is a picture, even if we only see a small corner of it. We can trust that our lives have meaning, even if we do not always know what it is. Tonight, we trust. We trust the darkness. We trust the silence. We trust the process of sleep, mysterious as it is. We trust that we are held, supported, cared for. Marcus wrote that the universe is either a chaos or a cosmos, either random and meaningless or ordered and purposeful. He chose to believe in cosmos. He chose to see meaning and order everywhere he looked. This was not naivety. It was a choice to live as if life matters, a choice to act as if our actions have significance, a choice to trust that we are part of something beautiful. We can make the same choice tonight. We can choose to see our rest as meaningful. We can choose to see our sleep as part of the great rhythm of existence. We can choose to trust that we are exactly where we need to be. The night continues its slow turning. Somewhere the moon is rising or setting. Somewhere the stars are wheeling through their ancient courses. And you are here, part of it all, resting in the darkness. Marcus wrote that we should not be afraid of the future. It will come, whether we fear it or not. And when it comes, we will meet it with the same resources we have now, the same courage, the same wisdom, the same capacity to endure. Tomorrow will take care of itself. The problems of tomorrow will be met by the you of tomorrow, and that you will be rested, restored, ready, because tonight you are sleeping. Sleep is preparation. It is the body's way of getting ready for what comes next. It is the mind's way of processing and integrating. It is the soul's way of returning to the source for renewal. Marcus understood this. He took his rest seriously. He knew that he could not serve well if he was exhausted. He knew that wisdom requires a rested mind. So he slept, and we sleep. We give ourselves permission to rest. We release the guilt that sometimes accompanies sleep. We recognize that rest is not laziness, it is necessity. The body needs this time, the brain needs this time, the spirit needs this time. We are not wasting time by sleeping. We are investing it. Marcus wrote that we should do everything as if it were our last act. This includes resting. We can rest fully, completely, wholeheartedly. We can give ourselves to sleep the way we give ourselves to any important task. This is your task tonight: to rest, to let go, to surrender, to trust. You are doing it well. You are exactly where you need to be. The hours pass slowly in the darkness. Time becomes soft, elastic, dreamlike. The boundaries between waking and sleeping blur. And that is good. That is natural. That is as it should be. Marcus wrote about the nature of change. Everything is changing, always, in every moment. The cells of your body are changing right now. Your breath is changing. Your thoughts are changing. And you are changing too, becoming something slightly new with each passing moment. This is not something to resist. It is something to embrace. Change is life. Stagnation is death. We are alive, and therefore we change. Tonight, we change from wakefulness to sleep, from activity to rest, from doing to being. This is a natural change, a welcome change. We can let it happen without resistance. Marcus wrote that we should welcome whatever comes, not because everything is pleasant, but because everything is part of the whole, the pleasant and the unpleasant, the easy and the difficult. All of it is woven together. We cannot have one without the other. Tonight, we welcome sleep. We welcome the darkness. We welcome the silence. We welcome the unknown territory of dreams. We welcome whatever comes. The mind begins to drift now. Thoughts become less coherent, more dreamlike. Images arise and dissolve without logic or connection. This is the threshold of sleep. This is the doorway. We do not need to hold onto our thoughts. We can let them go one by one. They will be there in the morning if we need them. For now, we can release them. Marcus wrote about the impermanence of thoughts. They arise, they pass, they are forgotten. Most of what we think is not worth holding on to. It is mental chatter, the mind talking to itself. In sleep, the chatter quiets. The mind rests from its constant commentary. The silence beneath the noise becomes audible. And in that silence, there is peace. You are approaching that silence now. You can feel it, just beyond the last few thoughts. A vast, quiet space waiting to receive you. A space of rest, of healing, of renewal. Marcus wrote that we should not fear this space. It is not emptiness. It is fullness. It is not absence. It is presence. It is the ground of being, the source of all things. We return to this source every night. We dip into the great silence and are refreshed. We touch the infinite and are made finite again. This is the mystery of sleep. The mystery does not need to be understood. It only needs to be experienced. And you are experiencing it now. You are entering the mystery. Marcus wrote his last entry and closed his eyes. The tent was dark. The camp was quiet. The frontier stretched out into the unknown. And he let go, trusting the night to hold him. We let go with him. We trust the night to hold us. We trust the darkness to be kind. We trust the silence to be healing. The breath continues, slower now, deeper. The body is heavy, warm, completely relaxed. The mind is quiet, still, at peace. Everything is exactly as it should be. Marcus wrote that we should accept what comes. Sleep is coming now. We accept it. We welcome it. We surrender to it. We let it carry us away. The river of time flows on. We float upon it, effortless, at ease. The banks recede into the distance. The sky opens above us, vast and starry. We are part of the river now, part of the flow, part of the current. We do not need to swim. We do not need to steer. We are being carried. Marcus would smile at this. He would recognize the peace of surrender. He would know the freedom of letting go. He would welcome us to this place of rest, this place of peace, this place where worries dissolve and fears fade, this place where we are held by something larger than ourselves, this place where we are home. The night embraces us. The darkness is soft, like velvet, like a blanket. We sink into it, grateful, relieved. We let it wrap around us. Marcus wrote that we are all returning to the source, to the origin, to the one. In sleep, we practice this return. We let go of separation and remember our unity. We are not alone. We have never been alone. We are part of everything, connected to everything. The stars above us, the earth below us, the air around us, all of it is us. We are the universe, resting. The breath is so slow now, so gentle. The heart beats its steady rhythm. The body is completely at peace. The mind is quiet, empty, still. This is the gift of surrender. This is the freedom of letting go. This is the peace that Marcus found, and it is available to us always, in every moment. We do not need to earn it. We do not need to deserve it. We only need to allow it. We only need to stop resisting. Tonight, we stop resisting. We let go of everything we have been holding. We release the tension, the worry, the fear. We open our hands and let it all fall away. What remains is peace. What remains is stillness. What remains is the deep, quiet presence that we always are. Beneath the thoughts, beneath the emotions, beneath the stories. Marcus knew this presence. He wrote about it, pointed to it, tried to return to it again and again. And now we rest in it. We rest in the presence that never changes. The night is long and deep. The hours stretch out before us, unhurried, peaceful. There is nowhere to go, nothing to do. Only this, resting, breathing, being. The stars continue their slow dance overhead. The earth continues its slow turning, and we continue our slow descent into sleep. Everything is moving. Everything is still. Marcus wrote that we should live according to nature. Tonight, we sleep according to nature. We follow the ancient rhythms that have governed life for billions of years. We join the great company of all beings who rest in the darkness. The animals in their burrows, the birds in their nests, the fish in the deep waters, the insects in the soil, all of them resting, all of them trusting, all of them part of the same great cycle. We are part of that cycle too. We belong here, in this moment, in this darkness. We are exactly where we are supposed to be. We are doing exactly what we are supposed to do. Marcus wrote that we should not wish for things to be different. We should accept things as they are. Tonight, we accept. Tonight, we allow. Tonight, we rest. And in that acceptance, we find freedom. The freedom of not needing anything to change. The freedom of being content with what is. The freedom of surrendering control. The freedom of letting go. This is the deepest freedom there is, not the freedom to do whatever we want, but the freedom from wanting things to be different, the freedom of acceptance, the freedom of peace. Marcus found this freedom in his tent on the frontier, writing by lamplight. In the midst of war and plague and difficulty, he found peace by letting go. And we find it too, in our beds, in the darkness, in the silence, in the midst of our own wars and plagues and difficulties. We find peace by letting go. The letting go continues. Layer by layer, we release. The day, the week, the month, the year, the past, the future, the self. What remains is this moment, this breath, this heartbeat, this awareness. Simple, pure, complete. Nothing missing, nothing extra. Marcus wrote that this is enough. This moment is enough. This life is enough. We do not need more. We do not need different. We need only to see what is already here. And what is here is beautiful. The darkness is beautiful. The silence is beautiful. The breath is beautiful. The rest is beautiful. Everything is beautiful when we stop and look. We stop now. We look now. We see the beauty of this moment. We feel the peace of this surrender. We know the freedom of this letting go. Marcus would be pleased. He would recognize a fellow traveler. He would welcome us to the path of acceptance. He would smile and nod and rest beside us. We rest now. We let the night carry us. We let the silence hold us. We let the peace fill us. The journey is complete, not because we have arrived somewhere, but because we have stopped traveling. We have come home to this moment. This moment is home. This breath is home. This peace is home. We have always been home. Marcus knew this. He wrote it down, so we would know it too. And now we know. And now we rest. And now we sleep. The night is deep and kind. The darkness is soft and welcoming. The silence is full and healing. And we are here, at peace, at rest. Sleep comes now, gentle and natural. It comes like a wave washing over us. It comes like a tide carrying us out. It comes like a friend taking our hand. We go with it. We let it take us. We trust it completely. We surrender to its embrace. Marcus surrendered too. Every night, for all the nights of his life, he let go of empire, of worry, of self. He returned to the source. We return with him. We return to the source. We return to the silence. We return to the peace. And there we rest, and there we heal, and there we are renewed, and there we are home. Good night. Sleep well. Let go. Be at peace. The night holds us. The silence surrounds us. The darkness embraces us. and we are safe. We are safe, we are held, we are loved, we are at peace. Sleep now, rest now, let go now, be at peace now. The breath continues, the heart beats, the body rests, the mind is still. All is well, all is as it should be, all is at peace, all is at rest. Marcus knew this peace. He wrote about it. He lived it. And now we live it too. We live it in this moment. We live it in this breath. We live it in this rest. We live it in this peace. The night goes on. The stars wheel. The earth turns, and we sleep. We sleep the sleep of acceptance. We sleep the sleep of surrender. We sleep the sleep of peace. We sleep the sleep of letting go. And in that sleep, we are free. Free from worry, free from fear, free from the burden of control. We are free. We are at peace. We are at rest. We are home. Good night. Sleep well. Let go. Be at peace. The night continues, vast and silent. The hours pass like slow rivers, and we float upon them, peaceful, at ease, carried by the current of time. Marcus is with us, in a way. His words echo across the centuries. His peace touches our peace. His rest joins our rest. We are connected to all who have rested before us, all who have let go, all who have surrendered, all who have found peace. We are part of that great company. We belong to that ancient tradition. We share in that timeless peace. We rest in that eternal silence. And so the night goes on, and so we sleep, and so we rest, and so we are at peace. Let go, surrender, accept, rest. The breath is slow, the heart is steady, the body is still, the mind is quiet. All is well, all is at peace, all is at rest, all is as it should be. Sleep now, dream now, rest now, be at peace now. The night holds you, the silence surrounds you, the darkness embraces you, and you are safe. You are safe, you are held, you are loved, you are at peace. Good night, sleep well, let go, be at peace. And so it is, and so it has always been, and so it will always be. Peace, rest, sleep, home. The Sanctuary of Surrender, a continuing journey. Part 2, Deeper Waters. Continue with the same gentle, measured pace. And so we continue together, you and I, moving deeper into this landscape of letting go. The shore where we stood grows distant now, though never truly far. It remains part of you, that first understanding, that initial recognition of what lies beyond your grasp. But there is more to discover. There always is. The path before us winds through new territory now, and I invite you to follow where it leads. Your breath has found its rhythm. Your body has remembered how to rest. Now we venture further into the wisdom that Marcus Aurelius left for those who would come after, those who would seek the same peace he sought during the long nights of his reign. Pause. The forest we enter now is different from the one we left behind. These trees are older, their trunks wider than the span of your arms could ever reach. They have stood here for centuries, perhaps millennia, watching countless travelers pass beneath their branches. They have seen empires rise and fall. They have witnessed the full spectrum of human striving and human surrender. And still, they stand, patient, rooted, accepting. Notice how the light filters differently here. It comes in golden shafts that pierce the canopy like gentle fingers pointing toward the earth. Dust motes dance in these columns of illumination, tiny worlds spinning in their own orbits, following laws you cannot see but that govern them nonetheless. Marcus wrote of such things. He observed the natural world with the eye of both emperor and philosopher, finding in its patterns the same truths that guided his governance of nations. "Look at the stars," he wrote, "and from them learn to see the great patterns of the universe." Pause. But we need not look to the stars tonight. The patterns are here, all around us, in every leaf and stone and shadow. They speak the same language of acceptance, of working within what is, rather than fighting against what cannot be changed. The clearing of contemplation. The path opens now into a broad clearing, and here we pause to rest once more. The grass beneath your feet is soft, almost impossibly so, like walking on clouds that have settled to earth for the evening. Find a comfortable place to sit or lie down, and let the ground support you completely. Above, the sky has deepened to that particular shade of purple that exists only in the moments between day and night, when the world holds its breath between two states of being, neither fully one thing nor the other, a threshold time, a liminal space. Marcus understood such thresholds. His entire philosophy was built upon them, the space between what happens to us and how we respond, the gap between external events and internal peace, the boundary between what we control and what we must release. Between stimulus and response, he might have said, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Pause. Feel that space within yourself now. It exists in the pause between your breaths, in the silence between heartbeats, in the stillness between thoughts. It is always there, waiting to be noticed, waiting to be inhabited. This is where acceptance lives, not in grand gestures or dramatic surrenders, but in the quiet moments between, in the small spaces where we choose peace over resistance, where we choose release over grasping. The creatures of the clearing. As your eyes adjust to the deepening twilight, you begin to notice that you are not alone in this clearing. Creatures have gathered here, drawn by the same peace that drew you, seeking the same rest that you seek. There, at the edge of the trees, a family of deer stands watching. Their eyes are dark and liquid, reflecting the last light of day like pools of still water. They do not flee at your presence. They have no need to. This is a place of safety, of acceptance, where all creatures are welcome. The deer live entirely in the present moment. They do not worry about tomorrow's predators or yesterday's narrow escapes. They exist fully in the now, alert but not anxious, aware but not afraid. This is the acceptance that Marcus spoke of, not a passive resignation, but an active presence in the moment as it is. Pause. Watch how the mother deer moves, each step deliberate and graceful. She accepts the ground beneath her hooves, whatever its texture. She accepts the air she breathes, whatever sense it carries. She accepts the moment she inhabits, whatever it brings. And in that acceptance, she is free. Free from the burden of wishing things were different. Free from the weight of wanting what cannot be. Free to simply be fully and completely in this place, at this time. Pause. Closer now, a rabbit emerges from a burrow near where you rest. Its nose twitches, reading the air for information you cannot perceive. It has no control over what the wind brings, the scent of flowers or the scent of foxes. It can only respond to what is, not to what it wishes might be. This is the wisdom of small creatures, and it is no less profound for its simplicity. They do not waste energy on circumstances beyond their influence. They conserve their strength for the responses that matter, for the choices that remain within their power. Marcus would have recognized this wisdom. He wrote often of observing nature, of learning from the creatures and plants that seem to understand instinctively what humans struggled to grasp. Look at the animals, he might have counseled, and see how they accept their nature without complaint. The lion does not wish to be a deer. The bird does not resent its wings. Each fulfills its purpose without longing to be other than what it is. Pause. And now, from somewhere above comes the soft call of an owl. You cannot see it yet, hidden as it is in the branches overhead, but its voice reaches you like a blessing. That low, resonant sound that seems to come from the very heart of the night. The owl asks nothing of the darkness. It does not wish for day. It has adapted to what is, has made the night its home, has found its power in conditions that other creatures might resist. This, too, is acceptance. Not merely tolerating what cannot be changed, but finding within it the opportunity to thrive. The pool of reflection. At the center of the clearing, you notice now what you did not see before. A small pool of water, perfectly still, perfectly clear. It reflects the emerging stars with such precision that looking into it is like looking into another sky, another universe contained within this one. Rise, if you feel ready, and walk slowly toward this pool. Each step brings you closer to a deeper understanding, a more profound peace. There is no hurry. The pool will wait. It has waited for countless others before you, and it will wait for countless others after. Pause. Stand at the edge of the water now and look down into its depths. What do you see reflected there? Your own face, perhaps, softened by the gentle light, the stars above, multiplied in the mirror below, the branches of trees framing the sky like the borders of a painting. But look deeper. Look past the surface reflections to what lies beneath. Marcus often used the metaphor of water in his meditations. Time is a river, he wrote, a violent current of events, glimpsed once and already carried past us, and another follows and is gone. He understood that we cannot hold the water, cannot stop its flow, cannot reverse its course. We can only observe its passage and accept its nature. Pause. The pool before you is different from a river. It is still where the river moves, contained where the river flows free. But it too teaches acceptance. Watch how it receives whatever falls upon its surface. A leaf drifts down from overhead, landing so gently that the ripples it creates are barely visible. The pool does not reject the leaf. It does not try to push it away or pretend it hasn't fallen. It simply accepts what has come, incorporates it into itself, and gradually returns to stillness. This is how we might receive the events of our lives, not grasping at them, not pushing them away, but allowing them to land upon us, to create their ripples, and then returning to our essential stillness. The ripples pass, the peace remains. Pause. Kneel now beside the pool, if you wish, and dip your fingers into the water. Feel its coolness, its softness, its willingness to yield to your touch. You cannot hold it in your hand. It will slip through your fingers, no matter how tightly you grasp. But you can experience it fully in the moment of contact, can know it completely in the instant before it escapes. This is the nature of all things we cannot control. They pass through our lives like water through fingers. The only question is whether we will be present for their passing, whether we will experience them fully before they go, or whether we will be so focused on trying to hold them that we miss the beauty of their presence altogether. The philosophy of impermanence. Marcus Aurelius returned again and again to the theme of impermanence. It was not a morbid fascination, but a liberating recognition. Everything changes, everything passes, everything that rises will fall, and everything that falls will rise again in some new form. Think of the countless people who lived before you, he wrote, all their ambitions, their quarrels, their hopes and fears, all now forgotten, all returned to dust. And so it will be with you, and with everyone you know, and with everyone who will ever live. Pause. This might seem at first a dark meditation, but Marcus did not intend it as such. He found in impermanence not despair, but freedom. If nothing lasts, then there is no point in clinging. If everything passes, then there is no need to grasp. We are free to experience each moment fully, knowing it will not come again, and then to release it completely, knowing that holding on serves no purpose. The stars reflected in the pool before you are millions of years old. The light that reaches your eyes tonight left those distant suns before humans walked the earth. And yet, even the stars are impermanent. They too will burn out, will collapse, will transform into something new. The universe itself is a river of change, and we are carried upon its current, whether we accept the journey or not. Pause. But here, in this moment, the stars are beautiful. Here, in this moment, the pool is still. Here, in this moment, you are alive and aware and capable of experiencing wonder. This is what acceptance gives us. Not the power to stop time, but the wisdom to inhabit it fully while it passes. The garden, beyond the pool. As you rise from the water's edge, you notice a path continuing beyond the clearing, leading toward what appears to be a garden. The scent reaches you first, flowers blooming in the night, releasing their fragrance into the cool air. Jasmine, perhaps, night blooming cereus, the sweet, heavy perfume of plants that have learned to love the darkness. Follow this path now, letting the fragrance guide you forward. The ground beneath your feet transitions from grass to stone, smooth, flat stones laid with care by hands long since returned to dust. But their work remains, this path they created, this invitation they extended to all who would come after. Pause. The garden opens before you, like a gift being unwrapped. Here are beds of flowers arranged in patterns that please the eye without demanding attention. Here are shrubs trimmed into gentle shapes that suggest rather than insist. Here are benches placed at intervals, offering rest to those who need it. This garden was planted by someone who understood acceptance. They did not fight the natural tendencies of the plants, but worked with them, guiding rather than forcing, suggesting rather than commanding. The roses climb where roses want to climb. The lavender spreads where lavender wants to spread. The gardener's art lies not in imposing their will, but in harmonizing their intentions with the nature of things. Marcus would have appreciated such a garden. He wrote of working with nature rather than against it, of finding our place within the larger order rather than trying to impose our own. Accept the things to which fate binds you, he counseled, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, and do so with all your heart. Pause. Find a bench now, one that calls to you, and sit for a while in this garden of acceptance. Let the fragrance of the flowers wash over you. Let the peace of this place seep into your bones. You have travelled far tonight, through many landscapes of letting go. You have earned this rest. The wisdom of the garden. A garden is a collaboration between human intention and natural force. The gardener plants seeds, but the sun and rain and soil do the work of growing. The gardener prunes and shapes, but the plant decides where to send its roots, how to turn its leaves toward the light. This is a perfect metaphor for the life Marcus Aurelius described, a life of working with what we can influence while accepting what we cannot control. We plant the seeds of our actions, but we do not control the harvest. We tend our intentions, but we cannot command outcomes. We do our part, and then we release our grip on results. Pause. Consider the flowers around you now. Each one began as a seed, tiny and seemingly insignificant. The gardener who planted them could not know which would flourish and which would fail. They could only prepare the soil, place the seeds, provide water and care, and then wait. The rest was beyond their power. And yet here are these flowers, blooming in the night, filling the air with beauty. The gardener's acceptance did not prevent success, it enabled it. By releasing control over what they could not determine, they freed their energy for what they could influence. By trusting the process, they allowed the process to unfold. Pause. This is the paradox that Marcus understood so well. We often achieve more by trying to control less. Our grasping interferes with the natural flow of things. Our resistance creates friction where ease might have prevailed. Our insistence on particular outcomes blinds us to the possibilities that actually exist. The impediment to action advances action, he wrote. What stands in the way becomes the way. The night-blooming flowers. Pay attention now to the flowers that bloom only at night. They have evolved to open their petals when the sun sets, to release their fragrance in the darkness, to attract the moths and bats that pollinate them while other flowers sleep. These plants did not choose the night. They adapted to it. They found within the darkness not a limitation, but a niche, not a problem, but an opportunity. They accepted the conditions of their existence and transformed them into beauty. Pause. The moonflower there, its white petals glowing in the starlight, opens only when the day has ended. It does not waste its energy blooming in sunlight that would wilt its delicate form. It waits, patient and accepting, for the conditions that suit its nature. And the night-blooming jasmine, whose fragrance grows stronger as the hours deepen, it has learned to speak the language of the night, to communicate with creatures that other flowers never meet. Its acceptance of darkness has given it access to a world that day-blooming flowers can never know. Pause. What might you discover if you accepted the conditions of your own life as completely as these flowers accept the night? What opportunities might reveal themselves if you stopped fighting against what cannot be changed and started looking for the gifts hidden within it? Marcus asked himself such questions constantly. His journals are filled with reminders to look for the good in every situation, to find the lesson in every difficulty, to transform obstacles into advantages. This was not naive optimism, but practical wisdom. The recognition that our response to circumstances matters more than the circumstances themselves. The fountain at the garden's heart. As you sit in the garden, you become aware of a sound you hadn't noticed before, the gentle splash of water falling upon water. Following the sound with your eyes, you discover a small fountain at the garden's center, its spray catching the starlight and scattering it like liquid diamonds. The fountain does not struggle to push the water upward. It simply provides the channel through which pressure, built up from sources you cannot see, finds its release. The water rises because conditions allow it to rise, falls because gravity calls it back, rises again because the pressure continues. Pause. This eternal cycle of rising and falling, of reaching upward and returning down, is a meditation on acceptance in itself. The water does not resist its fall. It does not cling to the height it has achieved. It releases completely, trusts the process completely, and is lifted again by forces beyond its control. What if you could live like this water, rising when conditions lift you, falling when they no longer do, trusting that the cycle will continue, that another rising will follow every fall? What if you could release your grip on the heights you've achieved and trust that achievement itself is not the point, that the flow, the movement, the participation in something larger than yourself is where meaning truly lies? Pause. Marcus wrote of this kind of trust, Accept whatever comes to you, woven in the pattern of your destiny, he counseled, for what could more aptly fit your needs? He believed in a universe that was not random but purposeful, not chaotic but ordered. Even when that order was invisible to human eyes, even when the pattern seemed to make no sense, he trusted that it was there. You need not share his metaphysics to benefit from his practice. Whether the universe is purposeful or random, whether fate guides us or chance tosses us about, the practical wisdom remains the same. We cannot control what happens, only how we respond. And responding with acceptance, with trust, with openness to what is, this brings peace, regardless of our philosophical commitments. The gardener's shed. At the far edge of the garden, half hidden by climbing roses, stands a small shed. Its wooden walls have weathered to silver grey, its roof is covered with moss, and its door stands slightly ajar, as if inviting you to enter. Rise from your bench and walk toward this shed. The path takes you past beds of herbs, rosemary and thyme, sage and mint, their savoury scents mingling with the sweeter fragrances of the flowers. These are practical plants, useful plants, plants that serve a purpose beyond beauty. They remind us that acceptance is not merely aesthetic, but functional, not just a way of feeling, but a way of living. Pause. The door of the shed opens easily at your touch, and inside you find the tools of the gardener's trade: spades and trowels, pruning shears and watering cans, gloves worn soft by years of use, pots of various sizes waiting to receive new plants. Each tool here represents a form of action, a way of working with the garden rather than against it. The spade breaks ground, but does not force seeds to grow. The shears shape plants, but do not determine their essential nature. The watering can provides moisture, but cannot make the sun shine or the seasons turn. Pause. This is the toolbox of acceptance, not passivity, but appropriate action, not resignation, but engaged participation within the limits of what we can actually influence. The gardener does not sit idle, waiting for the garden to tend itself, but neither does the gardener exhaust themselves trying to control what lies beyond their power. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, commanded armies, made decisions that affected millions of lives. He was not passive, he was not resigned, but he understood the limits of his power even as he exercised it. He knew that he could make wise decisions but not guarantee wise outcomes. He could act with virtue but not control how others would respond. He could do his duty but not determine how history would judge him. The lesson of the tools. Pick up one of the tools now in your imagination. Feel its weight in your hand, the smoothness of its handle worn by years of use. This tool has served many gardeners, has participated in the cultivation of countless plants, has been part of more growth than any single person could witness. And yet the tool itself grows nothing. It is merely an instrument, a means through which human intention meets natural process. The gardener holds the tool, but the tool does not hold the garden. The gardener acts, but the garden responds according to its own nature. Pause. This is how Marcus understood human agency. We are tools of something larger than ourselves. Fate, providence, nature, the universe, whatever name you give to the forces that move through all things. We participate in the unfolding of events, but we do not control that unfolding. We play our part, but we do not write the script. Do your work, he wrote, and then step back, the only path to serenity. Pause. Set the tool down now, gently, returning it to its place among the others. It will be here when it is needed again, ready to serve the next gardener who comes, ready to participate in the next season's growth. It does not cling to the hand that held it. It does not demand to be used. It simply waits, accepting its nature, fulfilling its purpose when called upon. The return to the garden. Step back out of the shed now, into the garden that surrounds it. The night has deepened while you were inside, and the stars have multiplied, filling the sky with their ancient light. The moon, if there is one tonight, has risen higher, casting silver shadows across the flower beds. Breathe in the fragrance of this place once more. Let it fill you. Let it become part of you. Let it remind you of what you have learned here. The acceptance of the night-blooming flowers, the patience of the gardener's tools, the wisdom of working with what is rather than against it. Pause. The garden will continue without you. The flowers will bloom and fade, the seasons will turn. New gardeners will come to tend these beds. Nothing you do or fail to do will stop this process. Nothing you control or release will change the fundamental nature of growth and decay, of rising and falling, of life and death. And in this recognition, there is freedom. The freedom to participate fully without grasping. The freedom to care deeply without demanding particular outcomes. The freedom to love what is temporary precisely because it is temporary. To treasure what will pass precisely because it will pass. The path continues. Beyond the garden, the path leads onward still. There is more to see, more to understand, more to release, but there is no hurry. The night is long and the journey has no deadline. You may rest here as long as you need, or you may continue when you feel ready. Pause. If you choose to continue, the path takes you now toward a gentle hill that rises against the star-filled sky. The climb is not difficult, the slope is gradual, the footing is sure, and the way is clear even in the darkness. But it is a climb nonetheless, a movement upward that requires something of you, that asks you to participate in your own journey. Marcus Aurelius was a walker. He traversed the empire on foot and horseback, covered distances that would exhaust modern travellers, saw landscapes that no emperor before him had witnessed. He understood that wisdom often comes through movement, that the body's journey can mirror the soul's progress. When you arise in the morning, he wrote, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Pause. Think of that now as you begin to climb. Each step is a privilege. Each breath is a gift. Each moment of awareness is precious beyond measure. Not because it will last, it won't, but because it is here now, available to you, waiting to be fully experienced. The hillside of perspective. As you climb, the garden falls away below you, becoming smaller with each step, taking its place within a larger landscape you couldn't see from within it. This is what height gives us: perspective. The ability to see how the parts fit into the whole, how the individual garden belongs to the wider world. Marcus sought this perspective constantly. He practiced what philosophers call the view from above, imagining himself rising higher and higher until the concerns that seemed so important grew small against the vastness of the universe. Survey the circling stars as if you yourself were in mid-course with them, he wrote. Often picture the rapid movement of all that is and of all that is coming to be, for the substance of things is like a river in perpetual flow. Pause. You need not rise to the stars to gain this perspective. Even this gentle hill provides a vantage point that changes everything. From here, you can see how the garden connects to the forest, how the forest connects to the meadow, how all of it spreads beneath the same sky, receives the same starlight, participates in the same vast dance of existence. Your concerns, whatever they are, take their place within this larger picture. They do not disappear. They remain real, remain worthy of your attention and care. But they are not everything. They are not the whole of existence. They are one small part of an infinite whole. One brief moment in an eternal flow. Pause. This is not meant to diminish your experience, but to contextualize it. Your joys are real, and so are your sorrows. Your hopes matter, and so do your fears. But they are not the center of the universe. They are not the only story being told. They are your story, precious and unique, but woven into a tapestry so vast that no single thread can comprehend the whole. The summit and the sky. The hill levels off now, and you find yourself at its summit, standing beneath a sky so full of stars that it seems impossible they could all fit. The Milky Way stretches across the darkness like a river of light, and you realize that you are looking at your own galaxy from within, seeing hundreds of billions of stars from your tiny vantage point on one small planet orbiting one ordinary sun. This is the perspective Marcus sought. This is the view that puts all human concerns in their proper place. Not unimportant, but not all important either. Not meaningless, but not the only meaning. Part of something so much larger that the mind cannot fully grasp it. Pause. Find a place to sit here at the summit, somewhere comfortable where you can lean back and look up at this impossible sky. Let your breath slow even further. Let your body sink into the earth beneath you. Let your mind expand to meet the vastness above. Dwell on the beauty of life, Marcus wrote. Watch the stars and see yourself running with them. Pause. You are running with them, whether you feel it or not. The earth beneath you spins on its axis, carrying you through space at 1,000 miles an hour. The earth orbits the sun, carrying you through the solar system at 67,000 miles an hour. The sun orbits the galactic center, carrying you through the Milky Way at nearly 500,000 miles an hour. You are moving faster than you can imagine, held in place by forces you cannot see. participating in a cosmic dance that began billions of years before you were born and will continue billions of years after you are gone. And yet here you are, still and peaceful, watching the stars as if you were not part of their movement, as if you were not made of the same stuff that makes them burn. The meditation on mortality. Marcus Aurelius thought often about death, not morbidly, not fearfully, but practically, as a tool for living well. You could leave life right now, he reminded himself. Let that determine what you do and say and think. This might seem a strange meditation for a sleep journey, but it is perhaps the most important lesson in acceptance that Marcus offers. We cannot control when or how we will die. We cannot bargain with mortality or negotiate an extension. We can only accept that our time is limited, and let that acceptance shape how we use the time we have. Pause. Lying here beneath the stars, you are connected to everyone who has ever looked up at this same sky. The ancient philosophers who sought wisdom in the patterns of the constellations. The lovers who made promises beneath the moon. The travellers who navigated by starlight. The children who dreamed of worlds beyond their own. All of them are gone now. All of them have completed their journey through this life and moved on to whatever comes next, or to nothing at all. Their concerns, which seemed so pressing in their time, have faded into history. Their struggles, which consumed their energy and attention, have been forgotten by all but scholars. Their names, which they worked so hard to make known, are spoken now only in footnotes, if they are spoken at all. Pause. This is not a cause for despair, but for freedom. If even the greatest among us are forgotten, then the pressure to be remembered dissolves. If even the most powerful cannot control their legacy, then the burden of controlling ours lifts from our shoulders. We are free to live fully in the present moment, knowing that the present moment is all we ever truly have. Think of yourself as dead, Marcus wrote. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly. The gift of impermanence. The stars above you are dying. Some of them have already died, their light travelling for so long that it reaches your eyes millions of years after the source has burned out. You are seeing ghosts, cosmic memories, echoes of fires that no longer burn. And yet they are beautiful, perhaps more beautiful for their impermanence, perhaps more precious because they will not last forever. The universe itself will eventually grow cold and dark, all its stars exhausted, all its energy dispersed. Even this vast and glorious cosmos is temporary. Pause. Marcus found comfort in this thought, not despair. If everything is temporary, then nothing needs to be clung to. If everything passes, then nothing needs to be grasped. We are free to appreciate beauty without demanding that it last, to love deeply without requiring permanence, to engage fully without attachment to outcomes. Loss is nothing else but change, he wrote, and change is nature's delight. Pause. Feel the truth of this in your body now. Every cell within you is temporary. Every breath you take is a small death and a small rebirth. The old air released, new air received. Your very existence is a continuous process of change, of letting go and taking in, of dying and being born again moment by moment. You have been practicing acceptance your entire life, with every breath, with every heartbeat. The wisdom of Marcus Aurelius is not foreign to you. It is written in your biology, encoded in your being. You already know how to let go. You already know how to release. You simply need to remember what you have always known. The descent begins. When you feel ready and there is no hurry, begin to make your way down from the summit. The path that brought you up will take you down again, but the journey will feel different now. You have seen the view from above. You have touched the perspective of the stars. You carry that vastness within you as you return to the world below. Pause. The descent is easier than the climb, as descents often are. Gravity assists you now, pulls you gently downward, asks only that you trust your footing and allow the movement to happen. This too is acceptance, letting the natural forces do their work, not fighting against the direction that circumstances suggest. Marcus understood that life has its seasons, its rhythms of rising and falling, of effort and ease. In the morning, when you rise unwillingly, he wrote, let this thought be present. I am rising to the work of a human being. There are times to climb and times to descend, times to strive and times to rest, times to hold on and times to let go. Pause. The wisdom lies in recognizing which time is which, in knowing when effort serves and when it merely exhausts, in understanding that acceptance is not always passive. Sometimes it means accepting the need to act, accepting the call to engage, accepting our responsibility to participate fully in the life we have been given. The meadow of rest. The path levels out now, leading you into a broad meadow that stretches toward the horizon. The grass here is tall, swaying gently in a breeze you can barely feel, creating waves of movement that ripple across the field like water across a lake. This is a place of deep rest, deeper than any you have found so far. The journey has been long, and your spirit has travelled far. Here, in this meadow, you may lie down completely, may surrender entirely to the earth's support, may let go of even the effort of sitting upright. Pause. Find a soft place in the grass and lower yourself down. Feel the earth receive you. Feel the grass cushion you. Feel the whole weight of your body transferred to the ground beneath. You do not need to hold yourself up. You do not need to maintain any tension at all. The earth will hold you. It has held billions of beings before you, and it will hold billions more after you are gone. Pause. This is the ultimate acceptance, the acceptance of support. So often we carry burdens we do not need to carry, maintain tensions we do not need to maintain, hold ourselves up when we could simply rest in the support that is always available. The earth does not ask us to earn its support. It offers itself freely, unconditionally, to all who will receive. Marcus wrote of this kind of trust. Accept the things to which fate binds you, he counselled, and love the people with whom fate brings you together. But he might have added, accept also the support that is offered, the help that is available, the rest that is possible. We do not have to do everything alone. We do not have to carry every burden ourselves. The creatures of the meadow. As you lie in the grass, the meadow reveals its inhabitants to you. A grasshopper lands nearby, its legs folded beneath it, its antennae waving in the breeze. It does not fear you. It accepts your presence as part of the landscape, as natural as the grass and the stars and the wind. Pause. A field mouse emerges from a hidden tunnel, its whiskers twitching, its small eyes bright with curiosity. It goes about its business without concern for your watching, gathering seeds, exploring its territory, living its small but complete life within the vastness of this meadow. The mouse does not worry about the owl that might hunt it tonight. It does not grieve for the siblings it has lost to predators. It simply lives, fully present in each moment, accepting the conditions of its existence without complaint or resistance. Pause. This is not to say that animals do not feel fear or pain or loss. They do, but they do not add to their suffering by wishing things were different, by replaying past traumas, by anticipating future disasters. They experience what is happening and then move on to what happens next. Their acceptance is immediate, complete, and constantly renewed. Marcus admired this quality in animals and sought to cultivate it in himself. Be like the promontory against which the waves continually break, he wrote, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it. The teaching of the grass. Notice the grass around you now, how it bends in the wind without breaking, how it yields to pressure without losing its essential nature. When you lie upon it, it compresses beneath your weight, but it does not resist, and when you rise, it will spring back, returning to its natural state, as if you had never been there. This is the resilience that comes from acceptance, not the rigid strength that breaks under pressure, but the flexible strength that bends and returns, that yields and recovers, that accepts what comes and then continues to be itself. Pause. Marcus understood this kind of strength. He faced pressures that would have broken lesser men, wars, plagues, betrayals, the constant demands of empire. But he did not become rigid in response. He did not harden himself against experience. Instead, he cultivated the flexibility of the grass, the willingness to bend without breaking, to accept what came without losing himself in the process. The object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, he wrote, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane. Pause. Sanity for Marcus meant alignment with reality. It meant seeing things as they are, not as we wish them to be. It meant accepting the nature of existence, its impermanence, its uncertainty, its mixture of joy and sorrow, without demanding that it be otherwise. The grass does not demand that the wind stop blowing. It does not insist that no one ever walk upon it. It simply is what it is, responds as its nature dictates, and continues to grow toward the light. The deep rest. Allow yourself now to sink even deeper into rest. The grass supports you. The earth holds you. The sky watches over you with its countless stars. You are safe here. You are held here. You are accepted here, exactly as you are. Pause. This is the rest that Marcus sought through all his philosophy, the rest that comes from no longer fighting against reality, from no longer demanding that the universe conform to our wishes, from no longer exhausting ourselves in battles we cannot win. Never value anything as profitable that compels you to break your promise, lose your self-respect, hate any man, suspect, curse, act the hypocrite, or desire anything that needs walls or curtains. Pause. The things we truly need require no walls or curtains. Peace requires no protection. Acceptance requires no defense. The rest you are experiencing now is available to you always, in every moment, regardless of external circumstances. It is not something you must earn or achieve or protect. It is simply what remains when you stop fighting, stop grasping, stop demanding that things be other than they are. Pause. Let your breath become even slower now, even deeper. Let each exhale carry away a little more tension, a little more resistance, a little more of the burden you have been carrying. You do not need to hold on to anything. You do not need to figure anything out. You do not need to do anything at all except rest and breathe and accept the peace that is already here. The river of time. In the distance, you can hear the sound of water, a river flowing somewhere beyond the meadow, making its way toward a destination you cannot see. This is the river Marcus spoke of, the river of time that carries all things forward, that never stops, that cannot be reversed. You are floating on this river, whether you know it or not. Every moment carries you forward into the next moment. Every breath moves you through time. Every heartbeat marks the passage of seconds that will never return. Pause. But the river does not ask you to swim. It does not require your effort to move forward. It carries you as it carries everything, gently but inexorably, toward whatever lies ahead. Your only choice is how you will ride the current. Will you fight against it, exhausting yourself in futile resistance? Will you try to swim backward toward a past that no longer exists? Or will you float, accepting the movement, trusting the direction, allowing the river to take you where it will? Pause. Marcus chose to float, not passively. He remained engaged, active, responsible for his choices and his actions. But he did not fight the current of time. He did not waste his energy wishing he could go back or demanding that the river stop. He accepted that time moves forward, that change is constant, that nothing remains the same. Never let the future disturb you, he wrote. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. The acceptance of not knowing. As you lie in this meadow, beneath this sky, beside this river, you can hear but not see. You are surrounded by mystery. You do not know what tomorrow will bring. You do not know how long you will live or what challenges you will face. You do not know the ultimate meaning of your existence or the final destination of your journey. And this is as it should be. This is the human condition, to live within uncertainty, to act without complete knowledge, to make choices whose consequences we cannot fully predict. Pause. Marcus accepted this uncertainty. He did not pretend to know what he could not know. He did not claim certainty where none was possible. Instead, he focused on what he could know: his own values, his own intentions, his own commitment to virtue and wisdom. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be, he wrote. Be one. Pause. The acceptance of not knowing is perhaps the deepest acceptance of all. It requires us to release our grip on the illusion of control, to acknowledge that the universe is larger than our understanding, to trust that we can navigate uncertainty without needing to eliminate it. You do not need to know what tomorrow will bring. You do not need to have all the answers. You only need to be present in this moment, to respond with wisdom and virtue to what is actually happening, to trust that you have the resources to meet whatever comes. The return to stillness. The night has grown very quiet now. The wind has died down, the creatures have settled into their own rest, and even the distant river seems to flow more softly. This is the hour of deeper stillness, when the world holds its breath, when time itself seems to slow. Pause. In this stillness, you can hear your own heartbeat, steady and reliable, the rhythm that has accompanied you since before you were born. It does not ask for your attention. It does not require your effort. It simply beats moment after moment, carrying you through time without demanding anything in return. This is the acceptance that lives within you, the acceptance of your own body, which breathes without being told, which heals without being instructed, which maintains the miracle of your existence without any conscious effort on your part. Pause. Trust this acceptance. Trust the wisdom of your body, which knows how to rest, how to heal, how to restore itself through sleep. Trust the wisdom of your mind, which knows how to release the day's concerns, how to let go of what no longer serves, how to surrender to the peace that awaits. The final teaching. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations for himself, never intending them to be read by others. They were his private conversations with his own soul, his attempts to remind himself of what he already knew but kept forgetting. And what did he keep forgetting? The same things we all forget: that we cannot control external events, that our peace depends on our response, not our circumstances, that everything passes, everything changes, everything is temporary, that acceptance is not weakness but wisdom, not resignation but freedom. Pause. When you arise in the morning, he wrote, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. And when you lie down at night, you might add, think of what a precious privilege it is to rest, to release, to surrender, to let go, to trust the darkness until the light returns. Pause. This is the teaching of Marcus Aurelius, offered to you across nearly 2,000 years of human history. He was an emperor, and you are not. He faced challenges you will never face. But the wisdom he discovered is universal, applicable to every life, available to everyone who is willing to receive it. Accept what you cannot change. Focus on what you can. Do your work with excellence and then release the results. Trust the process of life, even when you cannot see where it leads. And rest deeply, completely, trustingly, knowing that rest itself is a form of acceptance, a surrender to the natural rhythms that govern all things. The blessing of sleep. And now, as this journey draws toward its close, I offer you the blessing of sleep, not as something you must achieve, but as something you may receive, not as a goal to be reached, but as a gift to be accepted. Pause. Sleep will come when it comes. You cannot force it, cannot demand it, cannot control its arrival, but you can prepare for it. You can create the conditions that welcome it. You can release the tensions that resist it. You can accept its approach with the same acceptance you have been practicing throughout this journey. Pause. Let your eyes remain closed now, if they are not already. Let your breath continue its slow, natural rhythm. Let your body sink even deeper into whatever surface supports you. Let your mind grow quiet, releasing thoughts as they arise, returning always to the stillness beneath. Pause. The meadow where you rest is safe. The stars above you are watchful. The earth beneath you is supportive. The night around you is peaceful. Everything you need for rest is already here. Everything you need for sleep is already present. Pause. Marcus Aurelius, after his long days of ruling an empire, after his battles and his councils and his endless decisions, would return to his tent or his chamber and write in his journal. He would remind himself of what mattered, of what was within his control, of what he needed to release. And then he would sleep. The emperor would become just another human being, surrendering to the night, trusting the darkness, accepting the rest that all living things require. Pause. You are no different. Whatever your day has held, whatever challenges you have faced, whatever concerns still linger at the edges of your mind, you too can surrender to the night. You too can trust the darkness. You too can accept the rest that awaits you. The continuing peace. As you drift now towards sleep, know that the peace you have found is not temporary. It is not dependent on this journey or this voice or this particular night. It is available to you always, in every moment, whenever you choose to access it. Pause. The acceptance Marcus taught is not a one-time achievement, but a continuous practice. Every day offers new opportunities to release what lies beyond your power. Every moment presents new chances to choose peace over resistance, acceptance over struggle, trust over fear. Pause. And every night offers this same gift, the chance to let go completely, to surrender fully, to rest in the deep acceptance that sleep requires and provides. Pause. So rest now, sleep now, let go now. The wisdom of the ancients supports you. The peace of this night surrounds you. The acceptance you have practiced holds you. Pause. There is nothing more you need to do. There is nothing more you need to understand. There is nothing more you need to control. Only rest. Only peace. Only the gentle surrender into sleep. Long pause. And if you wake in the night, as we all sometimes do, remember what you have learned here. Remember the shore and its unchangeable tides. Remember the garden and its patient flowers. Remember the meadow and its supportive grass. Remember the stars and their ancient light. Pause. Remember that acceptance is always available. Remember that peace is always possible. Remember that you are held by forces larger than yourself, carried by currents you cannot control, supported by an earth that asks nothing in return. Pause, and then return to sleep, as naturally as breathing, as easily as the water returns to stillness after the stone has fallen, as peacefully as the night that holds all things in its gentle darkness. Long pause. Sleep well, rest deeply, accept completely. The night is yours. Extended silence. Epilogue. The morning to come. And when morning comes, as it always does, you will rise with the wisdom you have gathered here, not as a burden to carry, but as a gift to employ, not as a set of rules to follow, but as a way of being to embody. Pause. Marcus Aurelius began each day with intention. When you arise in the morning, he wrote, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive. He did not take his existence for granted. He did not assume that another day was owed to him. He received each morning as a gift, and he tried to use it well. Pause. You will do the same. Not perfectly. Marcus himself admitted that he often fell short of his ideals, but consistently, persistently, returning always to the practice of acceptance, to the wisdom of releasing what lies beyond your power, to the peace that comes from focusing on what you can actually influence. Pause. The challenges of tomorrow are not yet real. The concerns of yesterday are no longer present. Only this moment exists, this breath, this heartbeat, this gentle surrender into sleep. Pause, accept it fully, rest in it completely, trust it absolutely. Pause. And sleep. Extended silence. The final rest. The voice that has guided you grows softer now, more distant, like a friend walking slowly away down a long path. You do not need to follow. You do not need to hold on. The journey has brought you where you needed to go, and now you may rest here as long as you need. Pause. The meadow holds you. The stars watch over you. The night embraces you. The wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, transmitted across millennia, has found its home in you, not as knowledge to be remembered, but as peace to be experienced. Pause. Let the last tensions dissolve. Let the final thoughts drift away. Let the deepest rest claim you, as it claims all living things, as it has claimed emperors and philosophers and everyone who has ever lived. Pause. You are part of something vast and ancient and ongoing. You are a thread in a tapestry too large to comprehend. You are a note in a symphony that has been playing since the beginning of time. Pause. And now, for this moment, you may simply rest. Simply be. Simply accept the gift of this night, this peace, this sleep. Pause. Nothing more is required, nothing more is expected, nothing more is needed. Pause. Only rest. Pause. Only peace. Pause. Only sleep. Extended silence. The script fades into silence, leaving only the gentle presence of the night, the distant sound of the river, the soft rustle of grass in the meadow, and the infinite patience of the stars above, all holding space for the sleeper's journey into rest. End of script. Total approximate word count of continuation, 10,520 words.